everyone, and welcome to another episode of Little Give. I'm so excited for you to meet our guest here today. Go ahead, Jen, introduce yourself. Tell us where you're from. Tell us what you're all about.
Thank you. My name is Jen Uschold, and I currently live in Alexandria, Virginia. I am a physical therapist. I specialize in helping people with chronic pain, as I've completed a fellowship in pain science. And I'm very passionate about merging the pain science with a coaching strategy called positive intelligence. And I've been doing this for more than 30 years, so I've been around the block a few times, and I'm thrilled to be here today.
Wow, that sounds interesting. You know, so many people experience, I think everybody experiences pain at one point or another in their life. Tell us a bit about how you became so passionate about this and why.
Yeah, somebody just asked me that the other day. I remember as a new grad, so back in the early 90s, just having one particular gentleman, and he had a diagnosis that I'd learned about, but I really had no idea how to help him. And so it was frustrating that I couldn't help him because his pain was so intense and so severe, and our traditional things didn't work for him. And then we're going to fast forward all the way to 2014, where I got exposed to a neuroscientist named Adrian Lowe. And as soon as I started having some communications and learning about what he did, I thought, oh, this is for me. So I did a 6-month therapeutic pain specialist program with him. And then very shortly after that, I joined the fellowship program, which was an additional year and a half or two to really take a deep dive. And so many things I was intuitively doing, caring for clients, connecting with them, creating a relationship, putting the ownership in their hands and validating them is now all supported with research. We can help our clients more when we do those things in addition to the other strategies that we learn about as well. So it was a great experience.
Yeah. So when you first took that deep dive into it, what intrigued you the most about it?
I just kept having these jaw drop aha moments because, I had been a PT for 12 or 13 years by then. And so many things that I thought I knew about pain, I actually had no idea. And so I just remember over and over again, just thinking, oh, that makes so much more sense. And clients would come to mind, well, this is why this flared them, or this is why it didn't work, or this is why they got angry or weepy or whatever it was. I was just able to piece it together so much better. And we still know really very little about it. We just know a lot more now in the last 30 or 40 years.
Yeah, absolutely. So tell us like an example of something that's happened that was like an aha moment, like, oh, wow, that's why that's happening.
Yeah, that is a great example. So I remember at the time, I did not know that pain was 100% produced by the brain. This also is an important time to tell you and your audience that all pain is real. Pain scientists have never, ever scanned fake pain. However, it is an output by the brain. The brain chooses to create pain to protect you, such as you put your hand on a hot stove. We're actually really glad that you feel pain so that you can remove your hand. And then the challenge is when our nervous system gets super sensitized and your nervous system is responding to, say, a leaf hitting your window rather than a brick. And so I had one client in particular, I was her 27th provider in 10 months. And we would not have made any progress had I not had the pain science background, because with her, part of getting through chronic pain is movement, like getting that blood flow helps calm the nerves down. She was only able to do 2 minutes of walking a day. And that's where we started. Often people will push through and do 20 minutes or 30 minutes that actually can make their pain worse. So what's really exciting about this particular client is that she started with 2 minutes and now she sends me pictures hiking in Budapest because she's doing so well.
Wow, that's a great story and amazing how that was how you were able to do that. So how are you able to do that? I mean, if somebody's experiencing so much pain they can't even walk for 2 minutes and then to go to hiking, how is it like you rewire the brain, or you explain to the brain somehow that it's not real pain, or what? Tell me, I'm so excited to understand more.
Okay, all pain is real, absolutely, positively. But most people think that pain and tissue damage are the same thing. So you may have pain in your neck or your shoulder or your back, and that pain is real. However, it doesn't mean that you have any tissue damage in your shoulder, your neck, or your back. And we know it's very exciting because we know that when we teach people about pain and how it works, it actually reduces their pain. We have many, many studies, the fancy ones, systematic reviews showing that when people understand pain, they have less pain. So education happens to be our number one strategy for helping them. And think about it. If you're an accountant, if you're a coffee barista, if you're a nurse, if you don't have education and training and repetition, you're not going to be very good at your job. So we are asking people who are struggling with pain and it impacts their function and their focus, how to get over it when they don't yet have the knowledge. So that is really a critical place to start. And then exercise is our second most important strategy. And as we heard from that other client I addressed, is we need to start where they are. And so for some, it might be 10 minutes. And for her, it was literally 2 minutes. And then my favorite word is nudge. We just want to like nudge them. You know, can you do 2 minutes? Then in a couple of days, can you try 2 minutes and 15 seconds? And we just want to help them nudge it. We're trying to lower the threat and the sensitivity of the nervous system, because if the brain is not perceiving a threat, it will not create pain. And another really important thing is for people to break apart this idea that pain means tissue damage. We can have tissue damage, such as ever get into the shower and you notice a big bruise or a scratch on your arm and you had no idea it was there. It's tissue damage. Maybe you were busy trimming your bushes in your yard and were so excited about it because it was so beautiful, but your brain didn't care because it didn't perceive a threat. And then the opposite is also true. We can have debilitating pain, but then if we do scans, the tissues look just beautiful. So breaking that apart is really important.
Hi, my name is Justin Clark, and I'm the president of the board of directors for Driving Single Parents, a 501c3 nonprofit serving the citizens of San Antonio and Bexar County, Texas. I'm here today to tell you a little bit about the great work that our organization is doing for the citizens of San Antonio. What you're about to see is just a few photos and videos of the way that we're changing lives for single parents in and around San Antonio, Texas. Our first giveaway took place in April of 2017, just one short month after the formation of our organization. John, a Bexar County resident, was the victim of a horrible drunk driver incident. He and his daughter survived the crash, and we were so proud to give our first car to this deserving family. Fast forward to 2020, a very difficult year for nonprofits. We were able to secure 4 vehicles for single parents in need. Our organization, including our board of directors, list of partners, and portfolio of people we've been able to help in San Antonio, continues to grow, and it's all thanks to donors and local community organizations that have helped us along the way. This giveaway took place in 2021 and shows that we continue to help single parents even after the struggles brought about by COVID-19. Because of limited funds and the overwhelming need, we at Driving Single Parents are incredibly selective with the people we help. Some are victims of domestic violence. Others had a spouse pass away tragically or otherwise fell on hard times. These single parents show adversity in the face of challenge and aren't looking for a handout. We offer a hand up and help get them back in the driver's seat. Many of the single parents we help go on to graduate college, get promotions, get married, mentor others, and some have even been so touched by the gift we gave them that they have decided to join our board of directors to pay it forward and ensure the continued growth of our organization. If you would like to help our organization continue to grow and continue to help single parents in need in San Antonio, Texas, and Bexar County, Texas, we would really appreciate your support. Please visit us online at www.drivingsingleparents.org. Thank you.
I like how you said, educating people really helps. So I also believe knowledge is power. So educate us a bit more about pain and what it is and what it means, because you said that seems to really help a lot of clients you have.
We do this through stories. So can I take you through a 3 to 5 minute story?
Yes, please.
Okay, it's a little bit interactive. So my first question for you, Cindy, is if you were to step on a rusty nail, would you want to know about it?
Well, yes, because I feel like you could need to get a tetanus shot.
Yeah, or make sure it's up to date. Great. So in that case, pain is protective. And so we're going to do a super brief introduction to your nervous system. It is your brain, your spinal cord, and 400 nerves. Those 400 nerves are connected like one crazy highway system, 45 miles in length. So what city or town is about 45 miles from where you are?
Austin, Texas.
Austin. So we could lay your nerves end to end and get to Austin. That's a lot of nerves. Now, we're going to go back to that nail. When you step on a nail, it is not yet pain because we don't have pain nerves and we don't have pain sensors. We have danger sensors and they send that information up. The brain processes it. And if it perceives a threat, it's going to say, hey, Cindy, you stepped on a nail. We want you to do something about it. So can we also agree that your foot might be sore for a couple of days after you step on the nail?
Definitely.
Every time you feel that pain, you're not causing additional damage. It's just your nervous system doing its job of coming back to baseline. The challenge we have is that about 1 in 4 or 5 people in our country and 1 in 3 people globally, it never gets back to baseline. And I like to explain this as if I were to throw a brick through your front window, you would want your house alarm to go off. Yes?
Yes.
Yes. But if the sensitivity alarm gets messed up and suddenly a leaf hits your window and your house alarm goes off, is your house okay?
Yes, and that's very annoying.
Your house is okay. It's annoying. It's the sensitivity of the alarm. So when I'm telling this story with my clients, I say, is it possible that your house, that your body is okay, and we need to focus on the sensitivity of your alarm? And this usually opens up more conversation.
That's a great way to describe it. 100% great way. Because do you find that people are resistant to change or to believe that there is a potential to change the way that they're feeling? Or explain a bit about that.
It is different. It's different with everyone. And you mentioned before rewiring the brain. That is what we're doing. Neuroplasticity. This is the capacity for us to rewire our brain. And this ties in a little bit with my work with positive intelligence or mental fitness, because the left side of your brain is broadly your survival brain. And what we want to do is actively, intentionally shift to the right side of our brain, where your brain isn't perceiving the threats. It's not quite as elevated or jumpy. And we do that through repetition. No one's going to run a marathon unless they train and train and build and build. Same is true if we want to rewire the brain.
So like feeling like you have a lot of pain when you shouldn't have that much pain is really like a signal going off that's really not necessary. It's like the annoying alarm signal that we talked about earlier, but it still feels like a big deal to the person who's, experiencing it. Is that right?
Yeah. So all pain is real. I will say that again, because even if the person thinks, well, I shouldn't have pain, they do, and it's real. And, sometimes a therapist might say, hey, what's your pain level on 0 to 10? And they'll be like, it's a 13. And the PT is like, no, that's not possible. The scale only goes to 10. Well, the reality is if they are feeling pain that they're labeling a 13, that is what it is. Then we have to get curious. Are you safe? Is your nervous system safe? Or is your body safe? And if that's true, then what can we do? How can we introduce different strategies and knowledge for you to lower the sensitivity of your nervous system so that your alarm is responding to a brick rather than a leaf?
That makes so much sense. Are there different types of pain?
Yes. Somebody asked me on a podcast and they said, we have 3 broad buckets. And I said to her, probably don't want to get into the buckets. She's like, no, I do. And I said, okay. So I described them. And then at the end, she's like, no, I'm not going to ask you about the buckets. So we have 3 broad buckets, and it's the clinician who has to ask the right questions. And once we know broadly which bucket our clients are in, this really informs our treatment decisions. Somebody that sprained their ankle 2 weeks ago, it's going to be a completely different treatment plan than somebody who sprained their ankle 5 years ago, is still swollen and still using crutches because of their pain. And that's why it's important for therapists to really do a thorough evaluation.
Yes. Yes. And then that way you can address it in an appropriate fashion.
Absolutely. And
So what is your,
oh,
go ahead.
sorry. The appropriate fashion is what's most important to the client. And so they are driving the treatment technique. My clients know, they're coming, I'm like, what's most important for you today? And sometimes they're like, I knew you were going to ask, but I don't know. And that's okay too. But what's important is it's their agenda and not mine.
Hi, my name is Andrew Fraley, and I believe that sometimes we all need a little bit of help. If you're in the San Antonio community and you need some legal help, call me at 210-725-4658.
Yes. So what is your favorite part of the work that you do?
The light bulb moments when we tell the stories or I'm talking through it and they suddenly figure it out. And I have a client now, she's college age, and she's doing both the pain science and the mental fitness work. And as she was leaving the other day, I said something about have a good time with your family. That's a stressful situation. And she said, yeah, but XYZ might happen with my mom or my dad. And I said, and who gets to choose how you respond? And she just looked at me. She said, I do. And I was like, that's right. So we don't often remember how much power and ownership we have, whether it's pain or frustration or family or finances. We really have a whole lot more power and choice than we like to believe. And we do.
Absolutely. So what do you think is the most important part of pain management? I know that there are like pain management medications, there's therapy, there's all different things that go into. What are your thoughts and opinions on that?
Okay, well, the pain geeks, such as myself, we actually prefer to say that we're treating pain rather than managing pain. We treat the cold, right? We treat the flu, it goes away. And we don't want to be managing pain like we manage, say, type 1 diabetes. We want to get them to a point where it's really not interfering with their life. Or when it does, they have the strategies and tools to figure that out. So we have 4 main pillars that we really want to be exposing everyone to. And those are the education, exercise, sleep is a huge piece of helping people with pain, along with having goals. And then we have this program called 22 Plus, which is 22 additional all evidence science-backed strategies that can help people with pain. This is where it becomes a little bit a la carte. So if one client is totally on board with starting some work in nutrition, let's go. Somebody else wants to start dance or yoga, let's do that. Somebody else wants to use journaling or meditation, we're going to do that. So we have this framework, and at the same time, it's really the client driving it because they know what they want to do, and we're helping them reach into that capacity that is already there.
I think that's so perfect, the way that you do it, where it's not just one-stop shop, like this is the way it is for everyone. It's got to be different because we're all different. So I love that.
100%.
You touched on sleep just a little bit. I know there's a lot of research that shows how important sleep is. Talk to us about how that ties into the pain.
Yes. So this is still a statistic that is hard for me to believe because it's so counterintuitive. But we know that sleep and pain are bidirectional. They both impact each other. But the research is pretty clear that the quality of your sleep impacts the amount of pain you will have more than the pain impacting your sleep. And so that is why sleep strategies, and there are 3 broad categories that I address with my clients. The first is sleep hygiene, simple things as a dark room, a cool room, shutting off those screens a couple hours before bed. For some people, they make a tremendous difference in their sleep. And then I also address airway. So sometimes if people snore or they have, some chronic sinusitis or something, that can impact their sleep. And then the third area is nutrition and supplementation. So even what we eat, when we eat it, can either enhance or detract from sleep. Sleep is necessary for health and essential for healing from pain.
So fascinating. All the ways that it works where it's, your sleep is intertwined, your health is intertwined, like you touched earlier, like about fitness, all the things, and how eating and what you eat can really impact all of it. So, and how it all works together. I think it's so easy just to think, oh, there's this problem that I'm having, and that it's something outside of you, when pretty much everything you said so far are all things that we're in control of. And I agree with you when you said that oftentimes we forget how much power we really do have, and that we are the CEOs of our lives, and we are in charge of what we put into our body. We are in charge of working towards getting good sleep, and we are in charge of our response to things. So I love your work, and I just think it's incredible. And I love the fact that it's really centered on people understanding how much power they actually have.
Yes. And they can't use that power until they first have the knowledge, which is why we're so passionate about teaching people about how pain works.
I'm going to switch off to my little gift questions. Can you give the audience an example of a little thing that they can do in their community that might just be a little give on their end, but might make a big impact on the other side?
Yeah, I find it's just so simple to have a 2 or 3 sentence interaction anytime you're in a store, whether it's the coffee shop or the grocery store, whatever store you're in. These cashiers, they're working day in and day out. People are giving them grief. They're complaining about their coupon. Can you just say, hey, that is a really pretty shirt? Or, oh my goodness, the brown of your hair color is gorgeous. Can we interact with them a little bit and give them any type of little compliment, spark a 2 to 3 sentence conversation? You never know, it just might make their entire day.
I agree. It's those little tiny things like that. You just never know where somebody's at in their day or in their life, and just interacting with them and letting them know that you see them I just think that's a great example. Can you give the audience an example of a time in your life where somebody did something little for you that might have just been a little give on their end, but really made an impact on you and in your life?
Yeah, so my pain science mentor, his name is Adrian Lowe, and he is ridiculously intelligent. And when I had gone through the therapeutic pain program, and then I was starting to do some teaching with the group, and I was very, very low on confidence. I was very anxious. And Adrian got some feedback from a couple of people, and he calls me. He's like, hey, what's going on? I'm like, I don't really know. I was so nervous. And I really thought for sure he was going to kind of fire me from the teaching track. And he's like, you've got this. He's like, you've got the knowledge. You've got the passion. You can do this. And he's like, let's go. And so from that moment on, it really inspired me to start to believe in myself as much as other people believe in me. And all of the exciting things that I have been doing really track to, in a big way, to that moment where he chose to believe in me and let me know, rather than just believing these other people and saying, we're going to take Jen out. Because I wouldn't have met you today if he didn't do that.
Yeah, you just never know when these people are going to have a big impact on your life. And that was just beautiful of him, just to believe in you and see you for the efforts and hard work that you were willing to put in. I love it. I love it. About nonprofits. Are there any nonprofits that you're excited about?
Yes. So I'm involved with another group, and she introduced me to this woman, Tiffany, and the name of her nonprofit is FEME Revived, and FEME stands for Financially and Emotionally Abused Mothers. It is a survivor-led network with support. Oh, there it is. Support, advocacy, and financial independence. And they are doing different programs such as grants and loans and holistic support. I've done 2 different presentations for this group, and really giving their members a voice in advocacy where maybe they are struggling or cannot at this moment.
What a beautiful nonprofit. We come across nonprofits every week on this show, and it's so interesting how many of them I've never heard of. Doing Little Give for over 2 years now, almost 2.5. Wow. And the fact that, very often, I come across new nonprofits I've never heard of before. It's just so beautiful. I love the fact that all of these people are out there with the kindness of their heart, trying to find ways to solve problems and help others with the kindness of their heart. So I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that nonprofit.
Absolutely. No problem.
Yes. So why don't you tell the audience where they can find you, they can get to know more, they can learn more about you and all you do.
Excellent. So I recently launched a new website, and it is jenuschold.com. JenUschold.com. And if anybody wants to reach out to me, my email is jen@iriseforme.com. It's IRISEFORME. And I've got different programs on my website around pain programs, physical therapy, coaching, and interestingly, I am merging these two approaches with helping people prepare for and navigate divorce as well.
Very interesting. Thank you so much for sharing all of that. And for everybody out there who's watching, if you're interested in what Jen does, go find out more. She showed you all the places to go to find out and get in touch. If you are interested in nonprofit, please go to their website, find out more. And if it's something you're passionate about, please go make a donation. $1 or $5 multiplied by the many of you watching will make a huge impact to this nonprofit. Thank you so much for being on, Jen. And thank you everyone for watching. We'll see you all next week. If you enjoyed this episode of Little Give, head on over to our website. At littlegive.com, you'll be able to find all the information about previous episodes and past guests that we've had on. If you or someone you know would like to be a guest on Little Give, all the information is also on the website. And if you have a nonprofit that you love and would like to recommend be on the show, all of that information is also on the website. We really appreciate you watching today, and we can't wait to see you again next week.